Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a train deck profile. So I'm really excited to do some for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck that can summon out all sorts of awesome XZ monsters like Juggernaut Leap to be able to OTK your opponent. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of notification squad, and definitely check the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Night Express Knight. This card is an amazing normal summon for this deck because you can actually normal summon this card without tributing, but its attack becomes 0. But that's totally fine because we're just trying to summon out this card out to our side of the field so we can get a level 10 Earth Machine monster out on our side of the field so we can start making our XZ plays. We then play 3 copies of Super Express Train. This card is definitely a 3 of in the deck as well. It's an amazing extender in the build, and it has the ability if all monsters that you control are Earth Machine monsters, you can actually special summon this card in the hand. Also, during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can target a machine monster in the graveyard and add it to your hand, except a copy of this card, which is a great ability to help you recover your cards out of the graveyard. We then play 3 copies of Darkrai. Darkrai is definitely a 3 of in the deck as well, because this card is a great extender that if an Earth Machine monster is normally special summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from your hand, but its original attack and defense become half, which is not that big of a deal because it's a great extender just to help you get this card out on your side of the field. This card also has the ability, if this card is detached as an XZ material and sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is such a cool effect. You then play 3 copies of Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede. This card is really good as a 3-of in the build as well, and has a great effect that if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually target an Earth Machine monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position, but you negate its effects. You can also target one other face-up monster that you control, and the level of that monster or this card becomes a level of the other, which is a pretty cool effect to be able to level manipulate this card to make it a level 10, so you can go in for your rank 10 plays. We then play a single copy of Ruffian Railcar. Ruffian Railcar is just really good as another level 4 in the deck that we can summon off our copy of Urgent Schedule. We then play 2 copies of Terverion King Regulus. Terverion King Regulus is just too easy to summon this deck not to play. This card is a walking negate. It's ridiculously easy to summon in this deck and a great boss monster to be able to make, and it's just absolutely amazing. We then play 2 copies of the Star Destroying Kaiju. This card is really good in the deck. It's basically out your opponent's cards, but it's a great card as well to summon off of Interrupted Kaiju Slumber because we can actually summon this card to our side of the field and give our opponent a copy of the Turtle. This card is really good as well in the deck. We also play 2 copies of Gamma Seal. We play 2 of each of the Kaijus in the deck because of Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, because we can basically hand our opponent a copy of Gamma Seal. We get a copy of the Star Destroying Kaiju, which is a level 10 machine monster to be able to go in for our XZ plays. We then also play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is definitely a 3-of as well in the deck, basically just to stop the opponent from touching the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is definitely a 1-of in the build just to be able to search out our copy of our field spell, Revolving Switchyard. We then play 2 copies of Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires is really good in the deck because we play everything we need at 3, and we basically just want to be able to get to 2 Earth Machine monsters so we can make our XZ plays, and this card helps us just dig into the deck at the cost of banishing the top 10 of our deck, which is not that big of a deal in this build. We then play 3 copies of Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber is amazing because it will destroy every monster on the field and then special summon a Kaiju to our field and our opponent's field, which is a great effect to give our opponent a copy of Gamma Seal and give ourselves the copy of the Star Destroying Kaiju, giving us basically a level 10 machine monster to go in for our XZ plays. This card is really good and surprises a lot of opponents being able to drop this card against them and just destroy all the monsters on the field. We then play 3 copies of Revolving Switchyard. Revolving Switchyard is an amazing field spell that can help you get to your level 10 monsters, because this card is the ability if a level 10 Earth Machine monster is normally special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can activate this effect, that your opponent takes no battle damage for the rest of the turn, even if this card leaves the field. Also, you can special summon a level 4 Earth Machine monster with 1800 or more attack from your deck, and if you do, it becomes a level 10, which is a really cool effect to be able to use with your copy of Ruffian Rail card or your Pegasus Stampede to be able to just instantly get them out on your side of the field, which is also why I play the additional copy of Ruffian Rail card in the deck to be able to summon off this card's effect, just in case we banish our copy of our Railroad Stampede off of Desires. This card also has a really cool effect that you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to add a level 10 Earth Machine monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to search the exact card that you need off this card's effect. We then play 3 copies of Urgent Schedule. Urgent Schedule is definitely a 3 out in the build and helps you swarm the board with your Earth Machine monsters, that if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon a level 4 or lower and a level 5 or higher Earth Machine monster from the deck and defense system, but negate their effects, which is a really cool effect just to instantly get the exact monsters you want on your side of the field, so you can go in for your XZ plays. This card is amazing in the deck and just a really good 3 of overall. We then also play 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. Droplets is extremely important in this deck to be able to turn your opponent's field off while also halving the attack points of their monsters, so you have a safe target to swing into with your copy of Juggernaut Lead, which is also why I play the Kaijus in this build, to basically just half the attack points of a monster with Forbidden Droplets or hand them a Kaiju so we have a safe target to swing into with their copy of Juggernaut Lead. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing just 3, and it's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is definitely a 3 of in the build just to stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps if you activate this card from set. This card is really good as a 3 of in the build and just an absolutely amazing hand trap to be able to play in this build. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with our main boss monster, Juggernaut Lead, which we're actually playing 2 copies of in this deck. This card is actually a rank 11 XZ monster that you can make on top of your copy of Gustav Max or your copy of Super Dora. And this card is really good because once per turn you can also XZ summon this card by using a rank 10 machine XZ monster you control as a material. And once per turn you can detach a material from this card, and this card gains 2,000 attack and defense points. Also the rest of the turn, you cannot declare attacks with other cards, and during each battle phase, this card can make attacks up to the number of its XZ materials +1, which is an amazing ability. This card will go to 6,000 attack points and be able to attack multiple times, which is absolutely amazing, so you can basically go in for the OTK. We then play 2 copies of Gustav Max. Gustav Max is definitely a 2 of in the build as well. This card just does 2,000 points of burn damage. You make this card first, then you overlay with a copy of Juggernaut Lead, but make sure that you do that 2,000 points of burn damage before you overlay into your copy of Juggernaut Lead. We play a single copy of Super Dora. Super Dora is just really good because it basically is unaffected by everything, and has the ability once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach a material from this card, target a face-up monster on the field, and that target is unaffected by other card effects except its own effects until the end of the turn, which is a great ability to be able to play this card as a defensive card in the build. You can play a single copy of Sky Palace. Sky Palace is really good in the build, but you only need a single copy of this card. It's going to let you detach a material from this card and then target one card your opponent controls, destroy the target, and if you do, inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent. But this card cannot attack the turn you activate that effect, which is a little bit of a downside, but being able to pop a card and be able to do 1,000 points of damage is a really good effect. And then a single copy of Dreadnought Dreadnought. Dreadnought comes up every so often in the deck, which is why we're playing 1 rank 4 in the build. And this card helps you go into your other XZ monsters, and really good to be able to make in the deck. That at the end of the battle phase, if this card destroyed an opponent's monster by battle, you can actually special summon from your extra deck a rank 10 or higher machine XZ monster using this card as a material, which is a pretty cool effect to be able to go into your copy of your Gustav Max and then your copy of Juggernaut Lead, which is just really nice to be able to do with this card, just in case you summon out your copy of Ruffian Railcar and a copy of your Railroad Stampede. You may a single copy of the Final Bringer of End of Times. This card just pops 3 cards for absolutely no reason and is a walking the gate. So this card is definitely a one-of in the build and just absolutely broken. We then play the Spider Engine, which is going to be a single copy of number 35. Number 35 is really good in the deck as a one-of, as all monsters you control gain attack and events equal to the difference between your life points and your opponents, which is a really cool effect to help you make your monsters absolutely massive. Play a single copy of number 84. 84 is really good because you can overlay it on top of your copy of 35, which is really nice to be able to do, and then step into a copy of number 77 because you can make this card on top of one of your copies of your 84, which is really nice to be able to do. So you can basically go in for game with this 4,000 attack point boss monster, or make a copy of Zeus with a bunch of materials under it. Speaking of Zeus, we also play a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is just really good in the deck as a one-of because we play so many different XZ monsters to basically board wipe the field with. We then play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's also really good in the deck as a one-of, just as an option in case we need to make this card. We play a single copy of Cleafort Genius. This card combos very well with your copy of Urgent Schedule, as this card is a great ability that basically if 2 monsters are special summoned at the same time to zones this card points to, you can add a level 5 or higher machine monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to be able to add the exact card that you need off this card's effect, especially when you combine it with Urgent Schedule, summoning out 2 monsters to zone this card points to, and basically summoning out an additional card because you get to search a copy of, say, your Super Express Train, which is just really nice to be able to do. And my single copy of Anger Knuckle. Anger Knuckle is just a great combo piece in the deck, which is why I play this card as a one-of in the build. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Trains before, you should definitely give this deck a try, because it's absolutely amazing to be able to summon out your copy of Juggernaut Leave and just go in for a game and OTK your opponent, because it gets absolutely massive and it's super fun to be able to play. This deck is really fun and it just OTKs like crazy. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.